Thanks a lot for joining us on this week's Generation Tech episode. This week we're talking about the Bendgate issue, iOS 8 failures, and a lot more about some hack that might be coming out to kill us. So stay tuned.
Generation Tech, the weekly videocast for your inner geek, bringing you the hottest tech news from around the world. Brace yourselves, the show's about to start. It's Generation Tech. Here's your hosts, Rich Nieto and Matthew Burrows.
And what's up, everybody? Thanks a lot for joining us on episode 20 strong. It's 25th of November, 2014, of course. And I'm joined by Mr. Matthew Burrows. What's going on, dude?
Absolutely nothing.
Absolutely nothing. Except you got a nice burn on your hand.
Oh, you want to start to stream that? Look at that.
Yeah.
Look at that shit.
You got a woman burn, all right? You got a cooking in the kitchen, you know.
Your mom's a
making
woman
that ragu.
burn. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Well, anyway.
No, actually, I hit, flat top, right?
Yeah.
You see them, they cook White Castle uses them. Anyway, I kind of put my hand on that.
Oh. Well, it's like putting your hand on an iron, basically, right?
A little bit harder, but yeah.
Same idea. All right. Well, on that note.
Same idea there.
On that note.
Yeah, just a very hot piece of metal.
Yeah. But, so, in the tech world, there's a lot of stuff going on. I mean, I'm sure you guys have all seen Bendgate, which iPhones have been bending left and right in people's pockets, apparently. We'll talk a lot about that. I'm really skeptical about all this stuff. I mean, I got a lot to say. I got a lot to rant on. And also, iOS 8, 8.0.1 came out yesterday, and that was a big failure. It really screwed up a lot of people's iPhone 6s and 6 Pluses, so go into depth on that as well. So, yep. Matt, let's talk about Bendgate.
Oh, Lord.
Oh.
This is the stupidest hashtag. I am sorry, but it
Hashtag Bendgate.
So this has been taken way out of proportion, and people did it just for views. They fed off each other. You saw, if you guys follow any of these huge tech people like Unbox Therapy or MKBHD, they all kind of did videos within 5 minutes of each other, and they pretty much ruined their iPhones. Actually, MKBHD broke his hand making the video. Did you see that?
Yeah, I don't know if it was actually making the video.
I think that was just a joke, but it happened on the same day. So, yeah. I don't know. But Unbox Therapy actually did. He went through and bent his iPhone. And if you don't know what Bendgate is, it's pretty much say this is your iPhone, even though it's just my ID.
I could use my real iPhone and try to bend it, We could do it real time.
Don't do that. I don't want to do that. So pretty much it's when you have your iPhone in your pocket, there's a chance that it might kind of be bent a tiny bit, just with pressures on your pant pocket, especially if you wear tight, skinny jeans. I don't know, girls or guys who
hipster jeans.
Yeah. And there's a slight chance that it might be bent in a little bit, but some of these people have been saying that it's getting ridiculously bent. I'm not gonna bend my ID, but it's this, like that. It doesn't look good on the Apple's kind of repertoire for quality devices. That's for sure. For having a device that bends in your pocket. So
no,
that's what Bendgate is.
Definitely not. I mean, look at it this way: any device is gonna bend, no matter how, after a certain amount of force. It's just physics. I mean, things are not gonna be, impermeable to bends. I mean, you take anything, plastic, especially metal. I mean, aluminum is really soft. I mean, if you put enough effort behind it, it's going to bend. Now, it's not the case that if you just walk around with your iPhone in your pocket, at the end of the day, it's going to bend. That's not what's going to happen, all right? When I had the iPhone 4, iPhone 5S, 5, sometimes when I would put my leg up on a stair to tie my shoes and I had my phone in my pocket, it would get pressed against my thigh, and I would kind of think about, oh man, maybe the screen's gonna crack, or maybe it's gonna bend on the back. It kind of crossed my mind back then, but I don't think in so much pressure was put on it that's actually gonna break it. And I think that's the same case now. I mean, granted, iPhone 6 Plus is a big phone, and when things get bigger, they're more prone to bending. Just think about a pencil. You have a brand new pencil, unsharpened. You can snap it pretty easily. Now, if you sharpen it to like half its length, it takes more pressure to snap it in half. It's just physics, guys. I mean, you don't have to
basic physics.
Basic
it's like
physics.
The first law.
Yeah, you don't need to be a rocket science to figure this stuff out. So obviously the iPhone 6 Plus is a huge phone. It has a lot of surface area, and the biggest weakness in the phone, it seems to be, is right over here, right below the volume rocker, and that's like right in the middle of the phone. So it makes sense. So at the end of the day, I think a lot of these people are. I mean, Unbox Therapy is getting publicity up the ass. I mean, he's on the news, local news every night, CNN, CNBC, yada yada yada. He's gotten millions of views on this video already. So, and then he hit it up again with trying to bend the Note 3, which didn't bend as easily.
And these are all like immediately like piled on in my YouTube feed, like 5 minutes in between.
I think he made the Note 3 video like later that night or something like, or if anything, the next morning.
Well, because he saw how successful his iPhone video was.
Yeah, and then the next day he made a video comparing with like the Lumia, the Nokia Lumia, like a bunch of different phones, the HTC One, I think. So
Excuse me.
bless you. I got a live sneeze right there. But I think it's really making a big commotion out of something that's not really there.
Not that big.
I mean,
well, keep in mind, Apple apparently, this is by NBC, which is obviously a pretty big company. They're saying that Apple has only had 9 reports. 9 out of what, hundreds of thousands, if not. How many did they sell first day? I didn't get that number.
I forget. They broke a record, so it was a lot.
Yeah,
I mean,
it was probably close to a couple million.
Probably.
I wouldn't doubt that. A couple million devices on launch day, and 9 customers. Really, that's a really subjective thing to do your phone. They probably have like car keys, a certain car key that sticks up and puts pressure on the top there. It's really subjective.
Yeah, I mean, just like any new product, there's going to be that small yield of the defective devices where they have like dead pixels, or the battery overheats, something like that. I mean, this is going to happen. People are careless with their phones, and you see people all the time. They do that. The first thing was the drop test. I'm sure you saw that. I mean, right off the bat, right after they open up a brand new iPhone, they go and they try to drop it from their head height or even from like 10 feet high. And they say, oh, can it withstand that kind of drop? And that's like the first stress test that people put it through. And now it's this whole bending thing. I mean, how often do people actually sit there and be like, oh my God, it's bending? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they're in your pocket, dude. I have it in my pocket all day at work. And I don't even feel it getting pressure to even want to bend.
Yeah.
I don't wear
for sure
like tight jeans, obviously, but I would say it's normal size jeans, regular fit. I mean, what the normal person would wear, and it doesn't get any pressure on it. So I just think it's a lot of hoopla. It's a lot of attention whoring, really. And Apple's getting a lot of negative publicity over this. I mean, literally yesterday at work, I got questions about it. Every 5 seconds. It was annoying. I actually tweeted it out. It's like, first of all, I'm on Twitter all day. I'm on Twitter 24/7. Okay, I work in IT. I'm a tech fucking geek. All right. I've been following Unbox Therapy for like 3 or 4 years now. All right. So for someone to ask me, hey, I heard the iPhone's bending. Did you hear about it? Like, really, dude? You saw him on like CBS. All right. I saw it the fucking first second the video went up. Yes, I've heard about it. It's not even...
Saw that in the local news, okay?
Yeah, dude, and that's another thing. I hate when people get their tech news from local news, because it's like the most retarded news source. It's like they make them talking about sports or technology on the local news. I can't. I just can't. That's my biggest pet peeve, is when people get their tech news from the from local news.
Yeah. Also, the iPhone, a lot of phones now, especially with Androids, is kind of a trend. They have a manganese, I think that's what it's called. I don't know, something like that. Might be magnesium, one or the other. Anyway, they have like a chassis, a metal chassis. It's structurally stronger than the external materials. But in the case of the iPhone, they wanted lighter, so they went with aluminum chassis as well. So that will obviously make it a bit more pliable. But Lou in his video or Unbox Therapy, he is putting so much pressure on his phone. It was kind of ridiculous. He was like this, like freaking two hands bending it, and it just bent a tiny bit. And it wasn't like instant, like it takes a lot of pressure. And Apple in like return to all these rumors of how they don't test their phones correctly or whatever. They're showing off their testing facilities, and they have hundreds of $1,000s in like single machines, like one machine that just bends it a certain way to test each device as it goes out. So definitely they do a lot of testing, and obviously they saw nothing that would be super common.
Yeah.
I don't know. It takes a lot of strength, not really strength, but it takes a lot of pressure on the phone to bend it like that.
Dude, his fingers were turning purple when he was trying to bend it. I mean, come on. It's not even like, you're trying to bend a toothpick or like a pencil, which is going to break after a little bit of pressure. You have to put a lot of pressure behind it, all right? And that's not a real-world environment, that is being put on there. It's extra amount of force. So, this... It seems like almost with every single iPhone, like when they get a refresh of a new model, there's always a scandal or a gate, if you will.
Or complaint.
So when the iPhone 4 came out, there was antenna gate. When you put your hand over the phone, the antenna wasn't able to get a signal and bars would drop. That's why they gave away free cases at one point, and they came out with the bumpers and all that stuff. And with the iPhone 5, I don't know if you remember, but the slate model, the slate black color, it easily scratched. That was a big thing as well. I think it was called Scratchgate or Scuffgate or something stupid like that. And it was the same thing as this one. Like, obviously it's aluminum. It's going to scratch. If you have keys in your pocket with your phone without a case on it, it's going to scratch.
Yeah.
Black especially, I mean, it's going to show a lot more than the white one, because the white one's bare aluminum to begin with. So
that's what screen protectors and cases are for, people.
Yes, exactly. And that's
exactly why I have a screen protector, because I know through day-to-day use to go in my pocket, being with my keys or wallet, it's going to get scratched, and I don't care if it scratches the screen protector.
Yeah, that's what it's for. You replace the screen protector. But the other thing is, that's why they went with the space gray for the 5S, because it was lighter in color, and it wasn't going to show the scratches easily. So that's but it's like every new design model that comes out with these iPhones is always some kind of controversy, and it's kind of annoying. It's really, I mean, the antenna gate, that was a legit one. I mean, that's a serious engineering flaw in the design.
Yeah.
They went with the 4S, and they fixed the antenna the way it was designed, and that was that. But these last two, it's just people really picking at straws here.
Yeah. Well, it's like Scratchgate or whatever it was called. That's just an obvious thing. That's another thing of like almost, I guess you could call it physics. When you paint over a surface and you scratch away the top coat, obviously it's going to show whatever is below it. I mean, and when you have a dark color, it's going to contrast with the silver aluminum. So that's obvious. And why wouldn't... That's just such a stupid thing. That, like, why wouldn't they do that for desks or furniture or cars? It's like, it happens with everything.
Yeah, it's not just iPhones, it's everything. Oh, and by the way, Tech Salazar mentioned that they sold 10 million iPhone 6s, which that's what I thought I heard, but I didn't want to say because I want to put out wrong information. But yeah, 10 million. I mean, that's a lot of phones.
Nine. That's like 0.00009%.
That's crazy.
Of iPhone have been reported to bend, like, naturally. So,
and
don't worry about it if you have an iPhone.
It's funny because the first weekend, well, obviously last weekend, I think it was Saturday or Sunday, I saw the Mac Rumor post about someone saying, "Oh, it bent in my pocket," and that's where it all started. And it was actually the next day, it was on the front page of Mac Rumors. But I remember the guy posting. He posted a picture of it, and it bent. I remember reading his post. He said he went out for a jog and it bent, and
well, that's like repeated pressure over and over again, and it's not just like holding it there. It's like back and forth, so
Yeah.
it's loosening.
Because once aluminum or any metal bends in one direction, if you go to flex it back, it's screwed. Like when you showed Lou from Unbox Therapy, I think he posted
Cracked the screen when he tried to bend it back.
exactly. So it just once it's the metal is compromised, that's pretty much it.
Well, have you ever like taken a paper clip, bent it a couple times, and it will actually just break off? It'll break apart.
Exactly, same idea.
That's actually the same. It's the same metal, aluminum. It's that's how pliable aluminum is. But obviously, Apple has tested it in the real world, like pressures, and they don't see anything that's that bad.
Well,
like
if you look at the MacBooks that they make in aluminum, I mean, it's the exact same thing. Obviously, it's stronger because it's thicker aluminum in the chassis, in the unibody design. But after enough force, you can bend it. I mean, it takes a lot of force to bend this, but it's the same exact idea. And I've seen pictures of people bending their MacBooks in their backpacks. So
yeah, for sure. But I think. Pretty much, as this guy says, the senior VP at Apple, he says the bottom line is that if you use enough force to bend an iPhone or any phone, it's going to deform. So that's kind of, I mean, stating a really general fact, and people are calling out a really general fact.
Yeah,
so.
just be careful with it, guys. I mean, don't make it deter you from buying an iPhone or iPhone Plus if you think it's gonna bend. It's really not. I mean, you gotta be stupid with it, obviously, to bend it. So just be careful. I mean, obviously a case helps. I have a TPU style case. It's not going to really help that much if it's under a lot of pressure and it's going to bend. But if you really want to protect, you get like an Otter box where it's more, it's more of a firm backing.
It's enclosed.
It's enclosed, something like that. So that there are ways to prevent it a little bit more, but there's only so much you can do. But moving on, let's go to another topic about Apple. And this was another fail in one of the more recent incidents this like month.
This has been like Apple's probably worst month in its history. One of its worst. I mean, obviously it's had its bad times, but this is probably one of its worst ones in this century.
Yeah. So yesterday I saw on Twitter that iOS 8.0.1 was released, and I had just gotten out of a meeting. And right after I saw that, because I was about to go update my phone, I saw people saying, "Holy shit, my cell service has stopped after updating my phone." Like, holy shit, let me stop. Let me not do this. Cancel. But yeah, apparently this update only with iPhone 6 and 6 Pluses. So if you have something older, it's not going to affect it in this way. But it completely stops you from getting a cell signal, both voice and data, and the Touch ID no longer functions on these phones. So that's kind of a big deal. I mean, it's not like, it's making the phone slower or clunkier, in the UI. No, it's breaking the whole point of the phone, especially
taking away three of the biggest features and uses.
Yeah, it basically turns it into an iPod Touch. You can only use it with Wi-Fi.
And I don't know. I'm sure a lot of people by now are used to just using the Touch ID to log into their phones. So it's kind of like really taking away the usability of the phone.
Yeah. So they haven't released the fix for this yet, which is 8.0.2. They said in the next couple of days they're going to be releasing it. And they're advising if you did it already, if you updated it yesterday, that you got to revert back to stock 8, but through iTunes. So that's a bit of a process. So good luck with that.
But at least they have the option of, like, they removed 801 completely, and I think if you go through and just update it again, it'll bring it back. So
no, you can't just go and update it. You actually have to go through iTunes and do like a restore.
That's annoying.
Yeah, you
So did you have to do that on Kelly's phone, or did she install?
She does. I update her devices. I update my devices. So I'm the one that handles everything. She knows better than to go ahead. She doesn't bother, honestly. She doesn't give a shit.
She doesn't care. As long as it works as Facebook and Twitter.
Exactly. I'll be like, as soon as an update like that night, I'll be like, Kel, can I get your phone? She's like, why? Like, you just gotta update it. Relax.
Relax.
But yeah, between that and obviously the whole stream fail and then the pre-order fail for the iPhone 6s, there's just a lot going wrong with Apple right now, and it's just, I don't know, man. It's really tarnishing their brand. They've always had this really perfect image with their customers and the media and everything, and I don't know, just if this continues, it's who knows where this is going to go. Obviously, their stock price will be affected even slightly. But not just that, just the overall customer satisfaction is going to go down, which they really tout themselves highly about. That 98% customer satisfaction with the iPhones and whatnot. Yeah. They really take that to heart. And if they see those numbers slipping and all that stuff, how do they release this update without knowing, oh my God, our newest flagship phone is not going to function with the cell service anymore?
They obviously didn't cert test it enough. That's obviously something that probably someone got fired for today or yesterday. But Brandon Rebuck, sorry if I butchered your last name, in the chat actually just said that they just released 8.0.2.
Yes, I will wait to hear what people have to say before updating, so. But I'll make sure that because I'm not going to do it anymore. I'm not going to be the first one to update. And yes, it is as you can see right here, it is available. So
the reliability is going down. That's for sure.
Yeah, man.
Pretty steadily at this rate after past 30 days. So yeah, their streams have always been pretty much flawless, other than like power outages, like physical things that they can't avoid. Their phones have normally been pretty flawless, as in quality control, and their OSs have been pretty much flawless in quality control. So yeah, now it's kind of flipping.
It really boggles my mind. And as Xfinity mentioned, he wants to buy a couple things from Apple. As a first-time buyer, this really makes you think twice about buying a product from them now.
Yeah.
I think it's still too early for them to get affected in terms of sales and all that stuff, but they have to turn this around, man. I mean, everyone always thought about Android as being the unpolished, OS, and Windows also being like, putting out trash like Windows 8 and whatnot.
That's kind of flipping because Android's starting to look a lot better,
especially with Android L, the newest one. Yeah. A lot of people are looking forward to that.
Even KitKat, I think, looks good. It has its appealing it has like an appealing look to it, definitely for an Android device. Because I remember ice cream sandwich, gingerbread, all that stuff. Like I had a phone throughout each stage of Android, and it looked like garbage at first, and it kind of got a little better. The black and green wasn't that great, but now they're kind of going for I like the black and white and gray scales, but they're definitely, catching up to Apple, I believe, on popularity. So
well, I mean popularity, they're actually beyond surpassed them.
Yeah. That's because it's normally a cheaper phone. But,
yeah.
For like I don't know, for the people who always were with iPhones, I can definitely see some people switching over.
Yeah. I just want to give, like, after 1 week use of my iPhone 6, I'm loving it. I mean, I really love the size. It's not bothering one bit. Obviously, some people, it's going to, it's hard to use it with one hand. I mean, it's not terrible, but if you have to hold on to something and also use your phone in the other hand, it's not ideal. Don't get me wrong. But it's not the most terrible thing to hold around all day. The one gripe I really have with the iPhone so far, and this is obviously correctable, is just third-party apps not being optimized. I mean, if you look right now, everything's just blown up. All the text is huge. The one app that actually was updated, optimized for this phone is Uber of all apps.
That's that one that like the travel assistant, right?
It's the one that you can hail a taxi through and all that stuff.
Like
look at that.
And all that.
All the text is sharp and nice and small.
1080p.
Relatively speaking, I don't think it doesn't have landscape mode. But this is the one app I actually noticed was updated, and it looks great. It's awesome, and I just can't wait for everything else to work that way. And not to mention, obviously, with the iPhone 6 Plus, you should have the option for landscape mode in a lot of these apps, and it's just not supported. So
It's not there yet.
yeah, as of right now, it feels like when you got the iPad first came out way back in 2010, it was basically all running iPhone apps just blown up.
Yeah, I remember that. You could hit like the bottom right, and it'd like
1x,
it would be like
2x,
huge pixels. There was like
yeah. Granted, it's
disgusting.
not that bad, but it's just blown up and it looks pretty bad. So I'm looking forward to all these apps getting updated and actually getting a full experience using this kind of phone.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the iPhone 6 is only 768p, so it's like.
Yeah, I imagine the iPhone 6 isn't as bad with the upscaling. I haven't really used Kelly's phone that much. She got the regular 6, so. But using it for like a couple minutes, it didn't look as bad. It's really noticeable on the 6 Plus though. So the devs really got to go get out there and update those apps. But that's the only complaint. I mean, I really like the phone. It's just the whole Bendgate stuff is really like kind of tweaking me. It's like, and then you get all the casual people seeing it on the news and like asking you about it. Like, I don't think I can get it now. Come on, really? If that's going to stop you from getting the phone, then you weren't really that's it on getting it to begin with. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but anyway,
so our last topic of the night, it's kind of like a unknown type thing going on right now, but it's definitely kind of hitting the web with a bang. It's across all the major or 3 of the major tech news sites that I went to. Engadget, Gizmodo, and CNET all had this as one of their top articles. And it's all about this thing called the Shellshock bash bug, which Rich and I, in this Engadget article, we ran the command, and both of our computers are vulnerable because we run Macs. Anything that has a Linux-based system is technically vulnerable unless you've patched today, which most of you guys probably haven't. But I guess this thing is like the Heartbleed bug, where it can take control of your entire computer and pretty much get any information that it wants from it, make any changes that it wants. And it's pretty easy to do, apparently to many, I don't know, security analysts and stuff. So,
well, based on the articles I've been reading, it's actually worse than the Heartbleed bug. So, and that's really hard to imagine. Luckily, that didn't turn out to be as bad. I think a lot of website developers and such patched their code so that it wasn't really widely affected. So let's see if this is caught in time. But I read somewhere in one of these articles that this bug has been around for 25 years.
Yeah, so, and it's just not being realized how powerful it can be. So, and these articles don't help. That's the thing. All these articles are bringing light to it, and maybe these hackers or these novice hackers are like, oh, well, now here's something that I can probably go do and see if I can get some information from somebody or dox someone. But yeah, so that's the bad thing about sharing these articles, is that it brings awareness to it. Good and bad awareness, though.
I think at the end of the day, it needs to get out, though, so everyone knows about it. They know what to patch. Because the hackers are always ahead of the game. I mean, they have their underground little system that they always have,
Tor.
Yeah, that. And they know about this stuff. I mean, it's not like, they're finding out through CNN or CNET or whatever. So they know about it. It's just now everyone that actually runs websites and software devs, they actually can find out and start patching these things. So
it's actually system devs have to patch it. It's actually in your system.
Yeah.
So Apple's gonna have to set out a patch for us.
And I also read it affects websites as well. So it's everything almost. There's some kind of what is it called? Was it you said it was something with a B?
Bash.
Bash. Yes, the Bash shell.
Which I believe Bash is used for contacting websites like pinging.
Yeah.
And it's used with pretty much every website. So I don't think it's used in Tor websites. .onion, which is pretty much a traceless system, which is like the black market for drugs and body parts and stuff. That's all on the Tor internet, which is called the deep web.
The deep.
If you don't know what that is, wiki it.
There's actually a deeper web, which I found, and that's like really
Deeper than deep.
Yes, it's deeper than deep, bigger than big. Yes, but anyway,
Because they say like Twitter and stuff, all these sites, there's like 1% of the internet.
yeah, and you can't find them. Like you can't just type in the URL and find it.
Well, you can do Tor to web dot, and then if you do that Tor only web address, it actually will do it in any browser.
But there are some really underground. There's like a lot of
Yeah.
pedophilia and like
Yeah.
necromancing, some weird shit.
Necromancy?
Yes,
Necrophilia?
necrophilia, whatever the hell you want to call it.
Making love to the zombie. Oh, yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's something I looked into like one day that I was bored just to see, and it's not.
It's interesting to read, though.
Yeah, it's not something you. It's like going to 4chan, you know. You go there.
Well, that's what it's filled with chans as well. That's a big thing that takes up like that deep web is chans.
Yeah. Well, 4chan used to be like the deep web, but then everyone started going on 4chan, and it became like the mainstream deep web, you know, so to speak.
Yeah.
So.
It's kind of in between.
Yeah. Most people know about it though. It's kind of crazy, but it's the same idea. Like you only go there out of curiosity, but then you
Nude leaks
easily
and such.
regret going there once you see the shit on there.
All those nude leaks that were apparently from iOS Cloud were on there. That's where they were leaked.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, man, I think that's pretty much it for this week's show. Wanted to keep it nice, short, and simple. Covered a lot of the iPhone stuff. Again, I'm hoping Apple really bounces back from this. I mean, they have probably a new keynote next month to unveil the new iPads and Yosemite. So let's see if that goes a little smoother. iPads usually aren't as big of a release as the iPhone, so that should go a little bit more smoothly, I would hope.
Yeah. Are you going to get the mini?
Well, here's the thing. I got the mini this time because it's the exact same spec-wise as the iPad Air. If they were on different grounds, like if one had more RAM, one had a better CPU, whatever, I would go with the iPad Air. You know.
Oh, you'd still go with the iPad
Yeah.
Air?
I only got the mini. I like the size of the mini, but I only got it because it was the exact same spec-wise.
Yeah.
Like when it was first released and it didn't have the Retina screen, I couldn't go for it because it was a dumbed down version. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like.
Well, I mean, now you're pretty much your 6 Plus is almost big enough where you could use it as a tablet.
Yeah. So mainly I use my tablet around the house. So the mini's nice, and I can go with
Use
either
it for
one.
your remotes and stuff, right? Your Harmony and your lights and stuff.
Yeah.
The Hue.
So like my Harmony remotes control everything in my home theater. Also, like when I'm watching football on Sundays, I'll have my iPad with me to keep after my fantasy sports stuff and stuff like that. So it's mainly used around the house. I don't really bring it out that much. Especially now that I got the iPhone 6 Plus, this is my on-the-go tablet, really. It's a phablet. Yeah. So, best of both worlds.
Yeah, I mean, now you can just carry that around. You don't even need an iPad, maybe.
Yeah, dude. I kept my iPad at my desk here. I haven't brought it with me. I usually bring it with me every day to work, but there's really no need for it.
No point.
Although I might reconsider it in the short term because of the unoptimized apps on the 6 Plus. It's just not...
I mean, iPads are good, though, for watching, like, movies or something on flights or trains or whatever. Yeah. Pretty much anything like that. Long rides. Definitely the iPad screen would be more preferable. But I could easily get away with a 5-inch plus screen.
Oh, yeah. In a pinch, definitely. But if I was like on a long flight to like LA, like a 5-hour flight, 6-hour flight, I would want to bring my iPad. A little bit easier on the eyes. It's a bigger screen. You know.
Yeah.
But either way, you can't go wrong.
Yeah, well, probably like your iPad is good for hotels and stuff too. So
yeah, that's what I've mainly been traveling with, my iPad. Like when we, I think we mentioned in 2 weeks we're going to be going to Boston. I'm going to be making a trip up to Maine.
We'll have the show. We should just tell them now. Anyway, we'll be planning on doing the show, not that Friday because we'll be in Boston, pretty much up until Saturday night. But we'll probably do that show probably that Sunday.
We'll probably do it Saturday night.
Saturday night or Sunday. Yeah, it depends what time we get back on Saturday
We'll be back in time.
Yeah, we should be.
But yeah, because we're going to do it in his room. He's going to be sitting there. I'm going to be on the other side of his desk to when you're looking at him to the left, on the other side of the desk.
I'll set it. I'll get my setup well, because my webcam can go on a tripod, so
Yep.
we can definitely do that. So
It'll be
yeah,
cool.
it should be awesome.
Yeah, it'll be an interesting show.
And we could probably use what's that app that you were talking about that was updated?
Uber?
Yeah, we could probably use that around Boston.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It shows like restaurants and stuff too. So
Yeah, we'll see.
I saw a lot of people. I saw like Barnacles Nerdgasm in his vlog. He was using that in New York. So
It's really popular. I use it a couple of times to get around the city for work. It's awesome. You just request a ride. They show up right there. They give you a call actually when they're on the way. It's awesome. It's a lot cheaper than a New York City cab, that's for sure as well. So
yeah. All right. Well, we're gonna stop rambling.
Yes.
So thank you guys so much for watching. Follow us on Twitter. Our Twitter handles are right here below us. So we'll see you next week, same time, 8:00. And if you missed us live this week, definitely tune in next week. But the recorded show will always go up right after we finish recording it live. So, yeah.
We'll see you guys next week and go Yankees, Gina!
Fuck Yankees!
Even though they're out of the playoffs. All right. See